really we found that it helps us understand what lead to peace. There's so many entities and so many organizations who are focused on peace, yet we find that very little of what is going on is really based on solid numbers and data. And that's where we think we can bring some value added. We're trying to make peace a little more concrete. We are funded by a businessman who believes that if you don't measure something, you can't really understand it. And that unless we start measuring peace, we won't really know whether the actions that we're taking to increase the peace are working or not. So we want to be able to compare year on year and see how countries are doing. We want to be able to spur countries to do better. We want to be able to point the finger at which indicators, which areas a country is not doing so well in, so we can help policymakers direct their efforts. And we believe that with the index, we're measuring negative peace because we're measuring the absence of violence. Peace is much more than that. But if we can measure negative peace and then correlate what we have found against a lot of other factors, we can start developing an understanding of positive peace and start identifying what are the structures, what is needed to be built in a society to allow for sustainable peace. And one area that we're particularly interested in is the economics of peace, because we believe there's been a lot of studies on the cost of violence, but very little out there that tells us what is actually the benefits of peace. How much would our economies gain if we were able to reduce the levels of violence? Not only, eliminate war. What we found was very interesting with our United States Peace Index was that we only looked internally to the United States. We didn't look externally about, the amount of money spent in defense, in the military, and the Afghanistan war. We were looking just internally. And some of our calculations were about what if the United States were able to reduce the levels of violence internally. We're talking about murder and crime and robbery and rape. What if they were able to reduce those levels to the ones of Canada? And our results said there would be an approximate injection into the economy of about $375 billion yearly, if only the U.S. could not eliminate violence, but reduce it to the levels of a neighboring country, which is Canada.